Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Look at this headline from the Crypto Basic. Ripple CTO says XRP ledger pivoting to RWA tokenization, that's real world asset tokenization, pursued by firms like JPMorgan and Bank of America. And so here what's happening, you'll see as we get further into this, is JPMorgan and Bank of America, they're basically just copying what the XRP ledger is doing, and they're doing it in a rather notable centralized fashion, because the concept of tokenizing assets, which is something that people were talking about well before I jumped into crypto, but I've certainly been talking about it for the last 6 years that I've been in crypto. This is something that, was conceptualized certainly by David Schwartz and his crew, so that'd be Jed McCaleb and Arthur Brito, in 2011. And then XRP itself was created in June of 2012. So it sounded like a good idea to them over a decade ago. And now you have some of the largest financial entities on the planet, JP Morgan, Bank of America, saying, there might be something to that tokenization thing. There might be something to it, now that that's 2023. And then the question is, which is the best way to go about tokenizing pretty much everything that exists on the damn planet? XRP Ledger, are closed systems created by centralized entities. And I think ultimately, big picture, the truth is that depending on the use case and risk tolerances and specific parameters of whatever the hell you're working on, it could be either. It's probably technically not going to be a one-size-fits-all, but there's always going to be a place for this stuff, I'll tell you, within a decentralized system, such as the XRP Ledger. And there's been such adoption because XRP and XRP Ledger was among the first movers. It's here to stay, folks. Might this have been a good idea over a decade ago? Yes. It's just such early days. So I'm going to share with you what David Schwartz had to say about this, Ripple CTO. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Ripple CTO David Schwartz has revealed that the XRP ledger is moving towards real-world asset tokenization, or RWA for short, a scene pursued by prominent firms such as JP Morgan and Bank of America. Schwartz made these remarks while discussing the journey of the XRP ledger in a recent interview. He expressed his satisfaction with the fact that the technology behind the XRP ledger is getting more attention these days. Instead of an all-in obsession with XRP, it's gas token. Yeah, so I will pause to note here, there's way more attention for XRP and the XRP ledger, even if you set aside the price stuff, which admittedly we as speculators here, we care about a lot, and we should. And there's there's usefulness to speculators like us being in the space, obviously. Without speculators, good luck getting your project going. We're kind of useful, even though people like to crap all over speculators just because they make silly financial decisions. And fine, some of that's fun to tease. I do it too. But I still actually appreciate the fact that there are humans out there, creating the liquidity and because I'm telling you, if there's not actual value there, good luck building a dApp on top of that blockchain. I'm just saying, it's hard to bootstrap, especially in 2023, a new blockchain. And so the fact that there's this whole ecosystem here that's now been around over a decade, I'm just saying we should sufficiently value the speculators that have propped it up for the entirety of that time. That's all that I'm saying here. But certainly way more developers building on top of the XRP ledger than way back in the day, and it's been increasing. Even if you just look over the last 12 months, it's obviously been increasing, directionally doing the right thing. And those chains that have more developer activity are more likely to live, don't you think? Goes back to what I was saying when I jumped into crypto, and I was saying it when I launched this channel a half a decade ago. Utility matters and will win the day. That's that. I understand people don't sufficiently care, and it's a very complex space out there today. I get that. But that's the truth in the end. And the piece continues. The Ripple CTO emphasized that XRP remains a token that market participants can buy, hold, and transfer. However, he stressed that the token itself is not as interesting as the core technology powering the XRP ledger. Yeah, so quick comment on that one. That's fair. And I will tell you that me, being a speculator myself, holding XRP now over 6 years, the price and stuff, that's of paramount importance to me. But if you're talking in terms of interest from a technical perspective, what's more interesting, it would be the XRP ledger. But here's the cool thing. They're so intertwined. So even if you want, because I get it, the code for the token itself, not as exciting. But if you look at what happens when you're talking about building applications on top of the XRP ledger, unlocking use cases as adoption proceeds, as those things happen, understand that the XRP that XRP itself is required for all of that. So to me, it's intertwined in such a way that all the stuff that isn't XRP specific, even if it's XRP ledger specific, to me, it's pretty much equally interesting. Do most of you feel that way? Because I've always felt that way. Like, I've always been super interested in just random developments on the XRP ledger, because I understand that the more developers building on top of the ledger and the more traction we get there, the more staying power we have in those regards, the higher the price ultimately for XRP, right? More XRP getting used, more interest surrounding it, more people speculating on it, supply and demand does its thing, right? Anyway, Peace continues. He further called attention to the XRP ledger's unique nature at the early stage of blockchain adoption, noting that the network was the first layer 1 blockchain not built from the Bitcoin technology during the 2011/2012 period. Quote from David Schwartz. So it's exciting to see more focus on the technology. You're right. Institutional adoption of the XRP ledger technology is growing, end quote. Yep. Oh, definitely going in the right direction. And I don't know how many of you are aware of this fun little fact, but as cited in the article, that is correct. XRP ledger is the first blockchain in existence that was created from scratch after Bitcoin. It's the first. Everything, so there's Bitcoin first, obviously, but up to that point, every new cryptocurrency was actually just a clone of Bitcoin. The code, which is open source, was copied and then tweaked in X number of ways, whatever they're doing, trying to make it better, and that was that. But XRP was the first they were like, nah, let's just scrap all that. The idea is neat, it makes sense, but let's just try and make an entirely better version of that. We'll just, and it would use an entirely different consensus mechanism, so we're not going to use proof of work, there's no mining, and they came up with that. And these are people who are very fond of Bitcoin. They just thought that there was obviously going to be major problems in terms of scaling in the future. Boy, did they hit the nail on the head on that one, right? But they thought that there's a better way to do this, and here we are a decade later with XRP, not even close to approaching a scaling issue. Not even close. Anyway, Peace continues. According to him, part of the reason behind this growing interest in adoption is the heritage that the network was built around. He confirmed that the original architects, including him, built the XRP ledger for enterprise finance applications and cross-border payments. Yeah, and so that's in line with what I remember him saying like half a decade ago, or whenever it was. Because when he talked about the idea of like the origins, like why, what's with the origins of XRP and the XRP ledger, it was just to build a better Bitcoin. And he always stated that it would have something to do with payments just in general, at least loosely something to do with payments. It's just that they didn't know exactly what that would look like. Anyway, Peace continues. He noted that in the early days, he and the other architects were looking at ways to bolster enterprise adoption for solutions like Bitcoin. For such adoption to occur, they would need to establish bridges, connections, and other pivotal technologies. Schwartz then revealed that he is extremely excited about delving into real-world asset tokenization. He stressed that establishing efficient tokenization of real-world assets has grown to be a real problem. The XRP ledger is positioned to solve this problem. Yeah, and of course, and I'll pause to note, isn't it cool as hell that the XRP ledger has the world's first ever decentralized exchange, and it's the first platform where you can create new tokens on it? And it may be the case at this point in fine. Ethereum's most famously known for that, especially with its smart contract functionality, and it's easy to understand why in the coins that were getting built on there specifically because there's that smart contract functionality. But the XRP ledger is the first blockchain in existence where that was possible. And so here's a quote from Schwartz. Real-world asset tokenization is something that I'm pretty excited about right now because that's a real problem and there's real interest from mainstream financial giants like JPMorgan and Bank of America, which are actively pursuing tokenization of traditional assets, end quote. Look, you could find videos from me from literally half a decade ago where I'm talking about this. And I'm not pretending like I'm the only one, but we saw this coming as a community, did we not? An increasingly liquid world where everything ultimately under the sun is tokenized. unless there's some reason where it doesn't make sense. Okay, fine. I mean, I'm not going to tokenize my pet peeve, probably, right? Which is my lovely 8-year-old little terrier mix. I'm probably not going to tokenize her. Although even then, I've seen instances brought up where there's a discussion. This is from years ago. I might have mentioned it on the channel years ago, where somebody was talking about why they'd want to tokenize a horse. And I can't, it might sound silly on the surface, but there's actual reasons for that. You know, when it comes to like horse racing or this or that, or various people investing in specific horses and the horse breed and the whole 9 yards, because there's a whole industry surrounding that. And it actually can make sense to tokenize a horse and living creatures. I know it sounds silly on the surface, but there's seemingly good reasons behind it anyway. But the point is, you're going to be in an increasingly tokenized world. That's what we're talking about here. And you'll be able to get in and out of all sorts of various assets that are tokenized very quickly. And in order to do that on platforms where you're not going to have a trading pair for everything, you won't, of course, and people are going to use all sorts of different platforms to get in and out of positions, you're always going to need a bridge. And XRP is great for that, for connecting various platforms. You just need XRP, which is non-jurisdictional and decentralized on various platforms, and it has been broadly adopted. And then outside of that, if you don't want to worry about that, the cool thing is for everything that is tokenized on the XRP ledger itself, bam, it's right there. It's done. You can get in and out of any position that's right there. So it does make sense to house a bunch of it on the XRP ledger. I'm just noting that even if not, because XRP itself is so liquid, relatively speaking, and compared to other cryptocurrencies, like you can still, even if assets are on different platforms, you can still have that quick movement, which is cool as hell. And so you can see how this is starting to flesh out now that more time is passing. Anyway, piece continues. Projected to hit $30 trillion by 2030, the tokenization industry has become a hot topic in the crypto scene, with projects such as Floki looking to jump on it. Anthony Welfare, Ripple's CBDC advisor, revealed in July that Ripple aims to transform the real estate industry through tokenization. In a previous interview, David Schwartz expressed his desire to see the XRP ledger serve as the go-to platform for tokenized real-world assets. He noted that the XRP ledger boasts all the attractive features for this purpose, including low fees. And so there you go. It's something that we've known is coming forever, but this is just, as time passes, further validation. We were on the right path then, we're on the right path now. It's all coming. And more people are coming. And so it's just so astonishing that we've had this opportunity to be so early in the development of this and to actually invest in a token, which is part of this whole thing. It makes it all possible. What a ride, folks. It's good stuff. So that's why I always say, like, yeah, I love to track price action of XRP. I was as curious as you and everybody else that holds XRP because we got skin in the game that makes it super duper interesting. I'm just making the broader point that when it comes to developments within the XRP ledger that requires the utility of XRP, that ultimately does impact the price. So we should be probably equally interested, I would argue. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.